This week on This Too Shall Pass, kids just see someone that's easily picked on. What? Where?
Oh my God, right there. Oh my God, it's huge. Oh my God, it's in the closet. Wait, what? Where are you going?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, hurry. I can stand on a chair and tell you where the lizard is going, but getting down to catch it, I'd let Terrell live with me forever if he'll catch the lizards. Like, it's enough for me to not. Welcome to the This Too Shall Pass podcast. Trust me, I know life can be. This is an inclusive space for our stories and lessons to be heard and learned from without judgment, because this too shall pass. Hi, babes, and welcome back to This Too Shall Pass. I'm your host, Ariel, and I am so happy you are here. So let's check in. 2024 is coming to an end quickly. I know I can't be the only one that thinks that we just went trick-or-treating. Or is it just me? Trick-or-treating, Thanksgiving, I feel like Christmas is around the corner. Then all of a sudden we're into the new year. New year, new you. New year, same you, 2025. What are your goals? Where are you? I'd love to always start my episodes by asking, how are you? I feel like that's something that I wanted to be asked more, and I'm getting it recently. So I really do want to appreciate you all for hanging in here with us. I've loved this journey on this podcast for this year. This Too Shall Pass has grown tremendously online. You can find us on social media, on Instagram, as well as here on YouTube. But if you want to listen to us just in the car, in your headphones, while you take a walk, find us on Apple Podcasts. And I'm going to start off by reading one of the comments that was left. We have Nat Sanchez 01. I'm pretty sure this is Natalia Sanchez. I grew up with her here in East Orlando. She said, I love all the episodes, but my favorites are the one when you bring the kids on. I'm pretty sure that is Natalia Sanchez. I love her hard. Like, she has been one of my day ones. She did not go to beta with me, the pregnancy school here in East Orlando, but we did have our kids young. Her first child is the same age as Haley. And yeah, I love her. And I love my kids. And we will have them on more of the episodes in 2025. We'll do some like with just me by myself, me with some guests, me with the kids. And that's how the rotation will be for 2025. But thank you so much, Natalia. Nat Sanchez 01 for leaving your comment on Apple Podcast Review. And I encourage you all to do the same. I will shout you out, give your screen name, and appreciate all the love that comes my way. Just keep in mind, all of the comments, likes, shares, 5 stars, reviews do help the podcast grow and get us out there in front of more people so we continue to grow our village here on This Too Shall Pass. So let's jump into Her Voice, Her Story, which is a segment we do here on This Too Shall Pass that just shouts out a woman that is busting her ass here in the real world, getting her feet on the ground, hands in the mud, and working hard. So I'm going to shout out Linda J. On Instagram, I believe it's Linda Sells Orlando. Linda is my realtor right now. Let's do a silent clap around for Linda. Linda is helping me find my first home. I got Linda from Carla, so appreciate your circle. Who's around you matters. And I guess I just didn't really understand how much work goes into closing and finding a property. I mean, Linda has taken me to over 20 homes. She unlocks them. She sets it up. She turns on the light. She adjusts the air. She gives me comps. She does everything behind the scenes that I think maybe is not necessary, but it is. She calls out the roof, the water filter, the HVAC, the flooring, the walls, neighbors, what homes have sold around there. She has just gone above and beyond as a realtor. And I honestly would be lost without her. She's open, good communication. And if you go on her Instagram page, Linda is working her ass off between bringing us pies for Thanksgiving, going around. She has an open house every weekend. She's showing homes. I'm one of many, but she doesn't make me feel that way, if that makes sense. She's very attentive, one-on-one attention. I mean, she doesn't give me her email. I'm calling, texting, voice memos. Linda is my home search finder best friend right now. And I wanted to shout her out, give her some love before this year ends in 2024 and let her know that I appreciate her Everyone who's worked with her appreciates her, and she does great work. So yeah, I'm gonna shout out my girl Linda J at Linda Sells Orlando. The topic for this week, let's get into it. It is the end of the year. 2024 is coming up on an end. So before we jump into, I guess, the meat and potatoes of the episode, let me ask you, how has this year gone for you, honestly? If you're watching on YouTube, it's okay to say this has been a hard year, or I've missed the mark in this area, or, hey, I did meet my goals, or I really put this on my vision board because I wanted it to get done. It didn't, but this happened instead, and I'm happy that it's gone this way. So in the comments, please let me know, honestly, your heartfelt honesty. How did 2024 go for you? And if you want to know, I'm not really a vision board kind of girl until recently. I've always seen the cute Pinterest vision boards. I've seen, the girl groups click up and make their posters. I get it. I understand the importance of it, but I've never felt like I've mentally been there. And I felt like making a vision board would have set me up for failure more than helping me. Like to say, oh, I want a house and a new car and I want this. I just felt like it was kind of out of my reach, if I'm honest. And I just was happy to make it to the end of the month. I was happy to pay my lights, my water, my food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. None of the kids died, and we made it to the next month. Like that was enough of a vision board for me. I didn't need to see a vacation home and a yacht and girls throwing back bottles, because in my head I'm like, bitch, that's never gonna happen. So let's keep it realistic. Let's keep it to the basics and be happy or grateful or satisfied that we've made it this far. But I did want to say that I am getting into the vision board era. I don't think it's a soft girl era at all, because I do think vision boards practically require a lot of work. I did hear someone say, if your vision board doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. Like, dream big. So I guess I want to ask you, what does your vision board look like? Do you even do vision boards, or am I the only one that was like, I like it, I get the idea, but I've never, cut out the paper, did the poster, the glue. So let me know in the comments, are you a vision board kind of girly? And then 2, what's on your vision board? Are they goals that you can reach in the next 60 days, or are they huge goals? Are they something that is like requires a lot of manifestation and work? Like you don't even see how the path is going to connect, but you just see yourself there. I guess maybe that's why I didn't do it. I didn't know how do you connect the dots from here in Orlando, Florida to the moon? Like, isn't it just easier to draw a line from Orlando to Georgia? At least I know which way to go. I know how far it is. I know how much work it'll require. Or is your vision board supposed to be crazy, like your heartfelt goals, and you just hope it happens? I'm really into manifestation, but I'm really into praying more. And I really just want God to lead me wherever he wants to lead me. I want to be in rooms that he wants me to be in. And I don't want to move first. Like, I want wherever I go to be in his plans for me. But if I'm honest, 2024 was a good year for me. And I don't even think a lot has happened. I don't think a lot, like, magically, like, oh, got a new car and did all these things. It wasn't anything flashy. Like, internally, spiritually, peace-wise, this year has been unmatched for me. I've had little to no drama in my life. Little quiet at times. I'm starting to like it. A lot of peace between me and my kids, my children's fathers. Like, they're not in my kids' lives, but it's not bringing me to my knees and making me cry every day either, if you understand that difference. We moved out of my parents' house at the end. What was it? At the end of 2022. So going into this year was our first year, like, living alone in a home. Me and my kids have always lived like either in an apartment or with my parents. So this was the first time where we had like a backyard, where we had a garage, where we had, a home to decorate. Not saying that an apartment is not a home, but it was like, this was different. This was huge square footage wise. It's the biggest thing I've ever had to clean. And baby, my knees, my back, and my hands feel it. Yeah, all the kids started new schools. I've just grown a lot, I feel like, as a woman and as a mom this year. And it hasn't been like the drastic, flashy, we met Oprah, but it was like we moved into like a calm era where it's like everything's getting paid. All the cogs in the clock are moving accordingly. I went into this year working 2 jobs and social media to just now doing social media. So like the peace, the freedom, the availability, the ability to sustain my family on my own hard work without answering to someone else. My peace this year, I think, has been blessed, multiplied, and rolled over multiple times this year. And I think for me, that is a good year. I can tell you the last 60 days, last 2 months of this year have been wildfire. Okay. Like I've had like 14 collabs to do. The podcast is taking off and doing great. Social media is taking off personally on my personal pages and doing great. I am now able to even entertain the thought of closing on a home with a loan based off of income that I earn off my phone. Say that again. I am now able to potentially close on a home with income I earn from my phone, an app, a couple of apps, but apps nonetheless. And this is something that I've wanted. I can't say that I wanted to be like a huge social media person, but I have always wanted the freedom to support my family on my own terms. And that's kind of what I meant by I want to pray for what I want to feel like and God to lead me in whatever way that is. Like I didn't care if my freedom came from me owning a landscaping business. If it gave me freedom, I wanted to do it. So to know that social media is now giving me the opportunity to produce income and love my kids and provide for them on my own is something I'm really grateful for. So in the comments, let me know your peaks for this year and your lows for this year. For me, my low probably be in the beginning of the year. I was probably the most stressed I've ever been. 2 pant size smaller though, so I do want that part back. But the stress keeps me skinny. I've noticed the happier I am, the wider my waistline is, so I have to work on that. I don't want the pain, but I definitely want those jeans that have dust on them in my closet to fit. But in the beginning of the year, I worked 2 jobs. The kids were being driven around by me, mainly all the transportation. Like they have a lot more independence now where we're at. We were getting displaced out of my parents' home. I was spending a lot of money trying to get into this rental property and show that I made the income and still work and moving with no PTO. Like the first like 30 days of this year was rough. So that is definitely my low, trying to find a routine, footing, my kids' schools, moving. That was the lowest. And it just got better every month from there. I want to say my high is probably going to Woman Evolve is something great that I feel like happened for me this year, thanks to Carla. It was something that I watched online the year before, and I was like, ooh, I want to go there next year. Again, didn't put it on my vision board, but said it out loud. And somehow God maneuvered a way for me to be there and open those doors. And it was a spiritual change I feel like I needed. It was a shift of maybe more commitment into my faith with God that I feel like got reassured. So yeah, I love that. That is definitely my peak for this year, is going to Woman Evolve. It was a really, really good, you just got to be there. It was it's hard to explain moment that I really enjoy. And I'm ending this year busting my ass, planning for my first winter vacation. Fuck winter vacation. Planning for my first vacation with 5 kids alone on my own. We've gone places, but it's always like family events, like a family reunion or a cousin's graduation that just so happened to be out of state that I have to ask my mom if she can pay half the tickets because I can only afford 2. And then I can only go 2 days, not the full week because I have PTO and I need to rush back to my job. This is a vacation for me and my kids, 100% funded by me. 2, 100% funded by my self-employed job. 3, we get to go somewhere for Christmas and not just, do the traditional open presents under the tree. Not saying that's not good enough. It is, but we've done it every year. And this is probably only year 2 that I haven't waited in a Toys for Tots line to get toys for my kids. So I feel like this year was a lot of, you can do it. You're growing. I can see that I'm growing. It still comes with a lot of hesitation because whether it's good or bad, whatever your normal is, you're consistently going to reach back for that. Whether that normal is good or bad, it's what's consistent. It comes from that saying, I'd rather fuck with the devil I know than a devil I don't know. I know Toys for Tots line. I know Medicaid. I know low income housing. So to step outside of that and it's just you have to work, you got to figure it out. It is scary, and it gives me a lot of hesitation and pause. And maybe that's why I've poured more into my faith, because I know I have it, but the hesitation of stepping out there on my own has always made me pause, because if I fail, it's not just me. My kids will coincidentally go down with me, because I mean, we're a one-man boat. Everyone's in this boat, and whether I paddle or we sink, it all falls on me. So I'd love your honesty to let me know where you're at this year. Could you have done better? Are you happy for the progress you've made? Even if you've made no progress, did you maybe succeed more in peace or budgeting or finances, or you finally stopped calling that nigga back, or you switched jobs, or you learned to stand up for yourself more this year, or you poured into self-care? It doesn't have to be huge monumental moments that make our year a good year. I think the little details, the little fabric sewn into our life that we can change to better it for yourself still makes it a good year. So I'd love to hear from you and how your year is going so far and what you see for yourself next year on your vision board. We're going to jump into a segment called Without Judgment, and we have a letter. Yep. The topic is, my son bullied a special needs child, and I'm lost for how to handle it.
Yesterday, I received a call from my son's school informing me that he and another child physically attacked a special needs child during lunch. I'm absolutely sick to my stomach. I can't believe my son would ever do something like this, and I'm struggling to figure out how to respond. I've already talked to him about what happened, but I'm unsure of the best course of action moving forward. Should I take away his privileges, use physical discipline, or something else entirely? I want to make sure he truly understands how serious this is, and that this behavior is never acceptable. I've never dealt with anything like this before, and I don't want to make the wrong choice. For context, he's typically a good kid, so this has completely blindsided me. If you face something similar, I just need some advice on how to address this in a constructive way. I want to ensure he learns from this while also holding him accountable for his actions. Thank you in advance.
Wow. Okay. I think we do need to always keep in mind that these are children. We are put here to raise them, and they are independent from us. So sometimes we internalize things like, oh my gosh, how could he ever? Because we would never. But our kids are not us, and they do not think or process the world how we process it. I had a situation like this, but my kids were on the opposite end. Andre is very social. I don't want to gas him up and say he's that kid in school, so I'm just going to say he's very social. And he does have a good selection of friends, i.e. 200 people came to a 16-year-old birthday party that I had to pay per plate, like a wedding. But Andre actually left his friends to help a special needs child. It was in middle school. Two of Andre's, I'm going to be honest, they were two of Andre's friends. I knew them personally. So they'd been to the house. I knew their parents. They thought it was appropriate to dump. And when I say dump, think of like a wheelbarrow with mulch in it. They dumped a special needs child that was in a wheelchair out in the middle of the gym on the floor. When the coach stepped out to get like more balls and like jerseys to play basketball, they thought it was appropriate to lock his wheels on his wheelchair and dump him out onto the floor like mulch, like out of a wheelbarrow. Andre then in that moment had to choose, okay, do I care more about what my friends think about me, or do I care more about doing the right thing? So he had to leave his friends that were all laughing and pointing to go scoop up this child off the ground. I mean, holding like a husband holds his wife at a wedding, because Andre then got bullied by, oh, you scooped him up like that was your girl, and blah, blah, blah. So he still had to go through the bullying of it afterwards, but in his spirit, for whatever reason, because he is separate from me, knew that that action was wrong. But he also knew at the same time, him standing up for himself to stand up for that child was going to put Andre in the line of fire later. So for this mother, I think it comes down to confidence. Does your child feel confident to go against the grain, to stand alone? Because if not, it wasn't so much about him bullying a special needs child as it is about him going along with the crowd. So if he's just going along with the crowd to fit in, to not get picked on, maybe he wasn't bullying so bad that it was all on him, but he just participated in the bullying because it's easier than standing alone, and now they're both getting picked on. Is your child okay doing things on their own, moving independent and solo of the crowd, of their friends, of their peers? I think it circles back to your circle is important. How we love and instill in them their confidence at home is important. And we also have to know that even though we love our children and they are sweet and kind and listen to us at home, they may not be the same person in school. I'm going through that at home. Like, Terrell is my quietest child at home. He's probably a little quieter than Haley. When I tell you he gets in to get along and get his stuff done. He comes home, he's quiet, he's going to eat, he's going to do his chores, and he's going to mind his business to stay out of the line of fire. Fire is me. Because I come through like a bowl in a child in shop. Who swept? Who didn't put the dishes up? Why is the table still looking like this? Oh, y'all want me to come home and cook, but no one did their job? Terrell is that kid that comes home, gets it all done to stay out of the way, out of the punishment, because he wants to play his Fortnite and hang out with his friends and get peace after school. But in school, Terrell is a bully. And I have to know that just because he's not that way at home, he is that way behind my back. So I had to start putting Terrell in situations that he wasn't the best in. So, because I feel like, I don't know about your child, but with my kids, they learn the best if they can relate to it. So me telling them the stove is hot doesn't mean shit. All of my kids are going to touch it. They're going to burn themselves. Their hands are going to be burned and sizzled and no fingerprints because my kids are the kids that have to touch it. They're not going to learn from my mistakes. I wish they would. It would save me so much. Maybe Haley. Haley is very guarded. Like, oh, bitch, you did this. I'm not going to do it. But everyone else is going to touch the stove. So for Terrell, an area that he's not good in, to be honest, is reading. So what do? I put Terrell in the reading club in after school. He hates it. He hates me. He hates the teacher. He hates the subject. He hates all of it. But you know what it does? It makes him see that he's not the best reader. It makes him see how isolated it is to maybe be the only one who's not excelling in that area. And it gives him the opportunity to have empathy for someone else in another area in which he excels in. So Terrell is very good in math. He's awesome athletically. But now he knows what it feels like to not be the best in that room. And I think we need to know what that feels like to be able to have empathy or understanding for someone that's handicapped, because we see it as a disability. We see the parking tags. We see the wheelchairs. Kids just see someone that's easily picked on.
Bitch.
What? Where?
Oh my God, right there. This big. Oh my God, it's huge. Oh my God, it's in the closet. Wait, what? Where are you going?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, hurry. Well, that was very eventful. I hope you got a good laugh and we are able to end your year on a positive note. I call them lizards. Carla calls them crocodiles. You hear a lot of other unnecessary words in the background. But if you live in Florida, they are like I don't know why we have an orange for Florida. It should be a lizard. Okay. The lizard was huge. I don't know how Carla saw it out of her peripheral because Carla, I'm not saying she's blind, but things that are like popping, catching her attention, you know? The way she saw, I'm not going to say small. I'm going to give her credit. It was at least 6 inches. She yelled crocodile. By the time my eyes left the camera to refocus over here, Carla was gone. You hear me? I didn't even see her backside. I saw the little curly bits of her ponytail leave the door. Okay? She left the door. She left the room. And yeah, the audio speaks for itself. We were all terrified. I can stand on a chair and tell you where the lizard is going, but getting down to catch it, like I'd let Terrell live with me forever if he'll catch the lizards. Like it's enough for me to not.
I literally thought about him. I said, where is he? Mm-hmm. Get him out of school. I would have picked him up.
Yeah, Terrell has caught 3 lizards in my house. It only gets bad in Florida when it gets cold. So now that it's the winter, they're really like sitting in the cracks of the doors, sitting in the cracks in the windows, waiting for any moment to come in because they're cold. Okay? So when you go outside and you don't see them because they're sitting in the cracks of your house, waiting to come in. And the crocodile that entered Carla's house today was on a fucking mission. I mean, we shook this room loose. Not Carla. She was in the hallway about to call the fire department for a lizard. And I think we're all laughing, but I know in my heart she would have did it. So I need to give 2 claps For Ayana, who actually, threw the towel on it, jumped on it, killed it, it is dead, guys. RIP that lizard. We did not catch it and release it into the wild. We are not a reserve over here. We need to teach a lesson and let the rest of the lizards know outside. Do not come in the house. So, I love you. And to the question, I hope it was answered before the lizard fiasco. But if not, put your kids in situations where they are not the strongest in the room. Teach them empathy. Empathy is only taught or understood through correlation for them to be able to understand. Maybe sit something out. Volunteer at the homeless shelter. Give to special needs children in the hospital instead of doing something for them for their birthday. There has to be an exchange. There has to be an understanding that there are other people out there in different walks of life and different circumstances. And empathy is something that has to be taught. We cannot think that children just have empathy. They don't. Mine are roughnecks, and we have to be taught it all the time. I hope and I pray 2025 is good for everyone out there who is listening, watching, and has loved on my podcast. I really do appreciate it. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, whether you are listening to us on YouTube, following us on social media, or hearing us out loud in Apple Podcast. I love you. I will see you very soon and more consistently in 2025. Yeah. Be safe out there with the lizards. Love you. Bye. How do you know it's just one? Do they run in packs?